Howdy doodly do, clannies and neighbors. Kelly here. Today we're gonna talk a little bit about Paragon trees. A few people had some questions about it, so I figure we should go over some of the basics. Keep in mind that this is not gonna be a video where we go in depth too much. It's just to clarify some of the basic stuff for people. Alrighty, so let's go over the first question that most people have, which is the difference between an active tree and an inactive tree. And that is very simple. An active tree means that all the squares, all those square abilities that are 1 out of 1 will be active when the tree itself is active, and all the circles are active permanently. Doesn't matter which tree you have active. So for example, right now I have the Treasure Hunter tree, which means Swift Learner, Gold Find, Treasure Find, and Greed are going to be active. But if I were to swap, let's say, to Vanquisher, you will see in the Treasure Hunting tree that they are not active at all. How can you tell if something is active or not? It's also very simple. In the Treasure Hunter tree, which is not active at the moment, you can see all those green circles or that green shade around all the circular ones that I have actually spent points on. But if you notice, on all the square ones, there's not that green shade is not there. Let's activate the Treasure Hunter again. And here you go. Now they are active. Let's go back to show you Vanquisher. These two or these three are active at the moment, but this one is not the square. If you use these different, circles that have the stats, as I mentioned, they will be active all the time, no matter what. You can actually see a summary by clicking on this little book icon right next to the Vanquisher tree, and it will give you just a quick summary of how many points you have assigned and how many bonuses you're actually getting for the stats. All right, that should clarify active versus permanent. Now, you are allowed to reset your Paragon trees once a week, and it's very easy to do so. Towards the top where it says available points, there's that little icon with 2 arrows. You just click it, and if I were to click OK, everything go back to 0, and I would get all my Paragon points back, and I could just assign them again. Now, just to repeat, you can do this once a week. So, make sure that if you're going to test something, there's not going to be a week where you need to do something important with your Paragon trees. I'm going to go ahead and cancel because I do not want to reset them at the moment. Another question that people have are, which trees are better for different classes? And the answer is not really simple, but there are specific trees that are very important for every class depending on what you're doing. Namely, Treasure Hunter and Gladiator. So Treasure Hunter is really important because you get 2 bonuses. The first one is Gold Find. You get 50% extra gold for monsters in outdoor areas. The second one is Treasure Find. You get 50% increased equipment drop rate from elite monsters in outdoor areas. That means that when you're out and about doing your bounties or your contracts or farming on the open world, you will be getting more gold and more drops from elite monsters. Now, this doesn't seem like much, but in the long run, you're going to be able to use the equipment you get from Treasure Find to salvage and upgrade your legendary equipment. The Gold Find also adds up. You won't really notice it, in 1 or 2 kills or 1 or 2 gold drops. But over time, it adds up, and you can use that gold for upgrading a bunch of stuff or just going and gambling it all in random items with the hopes to get a legendary item. Greed increases the effects from 50% to 75%. Now, it's kind of debated as to whether the Treasure Hunter tree is valuable or not. In my opinion, and most people's opinion, it is, because those 2 specific actives will be extremely valuable in the long run. If you're able to power farm like many hours a day and you have no issues getting scrap, getting the enchanted dust, getting the shards to upgrade your legendary gear, then this might not be the best place to put your points, but that doesn't really apply to the majority of players. Now, Again, I know that there can be a lot of debate about that. That is just my opinion, and it's most people's opinion. I know that there's people that disagree with that. The second tree is Gladiator. Gladiator is extremely important, extremely useful, and extremely effective for PvP, namely the 2 top rows. You get Quick-Witted, which reduces the duration of loss of control effects against you for 10%. That is huge on PvP. You get Uncontrollable, which basically negates one loss of control effect on you every 30 seconds. And then the most important one is Cheat Death, which once every 2 minutes, you basically do not die. You cannot move for 3 seconds, and then you will go back to 60 life. That is incredibly good in PvP. So in my opinion, those 2 trees are the most important ones. You definitely want to have both of them. At least the 2 top rows in Gladiator, all these ones, and the 2 top rows in Treasure Hunter. Now, the next thing that you want to consider, because you get all these different fun and useful stats, is what should I unlock on the other trees? Until we get to like Paragon 500, it's really important that you put them in specific places. Some people will say put them into specific stats, like potency, like armor penetration, and whatnot. In my opinion, the best 2 places to put all your points and grab every node of them is damage and health. Damage just allows you to do more damage overall, whatever way you're dealing damage. This will just increase it. And life just helps you stay alive, whether it's open world farming, dungeons, challenge rift, or PvP. If you're dead, you're not doing any damage. So they both go hand in hand. I would personally first try to grab every single node of damage and health, and after I would start going for the other ones like armor penetration, like potency, or the other ones. So as you can see in Vanquisher, I have grabbed both of the damages and the 1 health. On Survivor, I have grabbed the health right here, and I've gone the middle path, which is a little bit less expensive on points, to grab the 2nd life, and then the last of the damage. Treasure Hunter, as I already mentioned, the top 2 rows. Getting this life right here is a little bit expensive because you do have to go through the 20 potency. I'm currently working on that right now, but I would not recommend going for this life just yet. You have better places to spend those points. Gladiator, the top 2 rows, you grab both of the healths and the damage. Soldier, you grab the health and the damage. And Mastermind, you grab the damage and health right here. This health not necessarily that important, but if you have enough points, get it, why not? Now, in Mastermind, there is a little nifty trick to skip some of the stuff. See how this one costs you 10, and then you can go to mutual defense? Well, if you start on the left side, it would cost you 5 for the potency, 1 for the coordinated assault, and then here, that armor penetration, you only need to have 1 point in there in order to move on to mutual defense. You don't actually need to spend the 15 points. So starting on this side actually allows you to use 7 points to get here, mutual defense, while in this one you need to do 10 points to get to mutual defense. Saves you 3 points for now, why not? Let's see, checking my notes really quick. Yes, so if you are unsure or you don't want to mess up your Paragon trees, I do have 2 links that will be in the description below. One of them will be the build that I recommend for your Paragon tree. It would require you to be level 306 to copy my build, but based on what we went through before, just try to grab Treasure Hunter, Gladiator, the top 2 rows, and then all the damage nodes, and then all the health nodes. That will maximize the damage you do, will help you just do everything quicker, everything faster, and everything will feel a lot smoother. The second link is going to be the Paragon Tree Calculator link, but this one is going to be blank so that you can go ahead and play around with it and see, what you like, what you don't, and just test it out, see how many points you would actually need for, pardon me, for the setup that you want. One thing to note with those calculators is that there is a way to skip them, to skip some of the clicking if you are on PC. So a left click on any of the dots, let's say that you go to Survivor and click on this one on the life, will add 1 point to it. A right click will remove 1 point to it, so you can go back and forth and play. If you use Control plus left click, it will add 5. And if you use Shift plus left click, it will add the maximum for that specific one. So if you don't want to click, for example, right here 25 times for this damage, you can just click Shift and then do 25 in 1 click. And the same applies with left click. And the same thing applies for right click if you want to remove points, just to test it out. I think that will be very useful to know. I will leave some other information in the description. For example, how many, what Paragon level you will need to be in order to do everything on Treasure Hunter, the top 2 rows in Gladiator, and then every damage and HP node, every stat node in all the Paragon trees plus Gladiator, or every node in every Paragon tree. Just to give you an idea of kind of what to expect and what kind of Paragon levels are going to be quote unquote important. Now for the time being, I am gonna go drink some water and play some Diablo Immortal. I'll talk to you guys later. Happy hunting.